Good evening and welcome. You're with News First, your number one news provider. I'm Shamir Rasuldin.
And I'm Sonali Wanigavadage. We start off with a look at the stories making headlines tonight.
A Maldivian criminal court issues arrest warrants on former President Mohammad Nasheed and his former defense minister. The president states that limiting children to books is a grave injustice. The Sri Lanka rupee depreciates further against the US dollar. The Bangladesh Premier League 2020 tournament commences.
On to the stories in detail now. President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that limiting a child to books is an injustice done to the child. The president expressed this view at the inauguration ceremony of a program to train a group of athletes selected from villages and schools.
The inauguration ceremony of the program named Lovadinana Krida Shakti Squad was held at Temple Trees today. 1,200 athletes from village and school levels have been chosen to make up a pool for 17 games. According to a release issued by the Presidential Media Unit, the President has stated that even though Sri Lanka could not get the opportunity to host the 2018 Commonwealth Games, participating in the Games and emerging victorious could be considered a tribute to the nation. He has further stated that steps should be taken to make these athletes qualify to participate in any event, including SAARC Games, Commonwealth Games and the Olympics. The pool includes 30 athletes for each game, representing all provinces of the country. Tokens were presented to the athletes by the President during the event.
A Maldivian criminal court headed by Justice Abdullah Mohammed issued arrest warrants on former President Mohammad Nasheed and his former defense minister today. However, speaking exclusively to News First, the Maldivian president's media secretary Masood Imad said that despite a warrant being issued on the former president of Maldives, Mohammad Nasheed, the government's position is that it will not arrest the former president.
An arrest warrant being issued is by the judiciary. The president, Mr. Wahid, has reassured the Maldivians here that he will not interfere with the judiciary, nor would he interfere with the legislature. And so I understand that there is an arrest warrant, but I do not believe that the former president would be arrested. It perhaps would have been issued for his own safety from the experiences of yesterday. I understand there are some cases in the court against him for contempt of court and various other petty things. So that's the judiciary's issue. But I've been overhearing the president reassuring the public and other news media that he would not be arrested.
Meanwhile, former Maldivian President Mohammad Nasheed called on the international community to act swiftly.
They have issued an arrest warrant to arrest me. Now, the new Home Minister has pledged that I will be the first former president to spend all my life in jail. So, I think he is working on his delivery of his pledge. I hope that the international community will take note of what is happening in the Maldives. And if they can't do something right now, it certainly will be late tomorrow.
International media reported this evening, quoting the former president of Maldives, Mohammad Nasheed, that he was forced to resign at gunpoint. To verify this statement made by Nasheed to the international media, News First spoke to Lieutenant Colonel Abdul Rahim, the media spokesperson of the Maldivian Defence Force. And this is what he had to say.
The military is trying our best to maintain law and order in the country. That's what we are trying to do right now. Very clearly, yesterday, the commander who has run this operation has come on to the media and he very clearly announced it and that he was not forced in gunpoint. That's what our commander has delivered this to the media yesterday.
Meanwhile, protests continued in Malé yesterday. Police fired tear gas to disperse protesters angry over the developments that led to the resignation of the Maldivian president. Hundreds of Nasheed supporters protested in the Republic Square in Male near the police and military headquarters. According to the BBC, Nasheed was also among the protesters.
Now in a new development, President Mahinda Rajapaksa has spoken to former President Mohamed Nasheed to inquire into his well-being. Presidential spokesperson and international media advisor Bandula Jayasekara stated that President Rajapaksa had telephoned Nasheed. Meanwhile, earlier in the day, President Rajapaksa congratulated the new Maldivian President, Dr. Mohamed Wahid.
According to the Maldivian president's official website, Dr. Wahid had briefed President Mahinda Rajapaksa on the current situation in the country. Meanwhile, according to presidential spokesperson Bandula Jayasekara, Dr. Wahid had assured President Rajapaksa of former President Mohamed Nasheed's security. Jayasekara stated that the wife of former Maldivian President Mohamed Nasheed, who arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday, had requested President Mahinda Rajapaksa to obtain an assurance on the safety of her husband. According to a release issued by the Presidential Secretariat, the President has advised the IGP to provide the former Maldivian President's wife with security.
Now, News First, of course, will keep our viewers fully updated with regard to all the developments that will unfold on the Maldivian issue. Stay connected, stay with News First.
In other local stories, the market turmoil extended to the forex market today, with the rupee falling sharply against the US dollar. Forex market data indicated that the selling price of the US dollar had exceeded 115 rupees today. The devaluation of the rupee began with the decision taken by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka last Friday to minimize intervention to protect the value of the rupee against the US dollar.
According to the exchange rates of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the buying rate of a US dollar was 113 rupees and 44 cents, while the selling rate of a US dollar was 115 rupees and 31 cents. However, traders say that the price of a US dollar in the money market was between 115 rupees and 10 cents and 115 rupees and 90 cents. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has been consistently intervening to protect the value of the rupee against the US dollar up until last Friday. However, this has been done at the expense of the country's foreign reserves, which have seen a significant drop over the last few months. The International Monetary Fund has been steadfast in its stance that the central bank should refrain from money market intervention.
It was pointed out by us from about 6 months ago that the strategy of trying to artificially keep the rupee at 110 for political purposes was going to be futile. It was absolutely not possible to artificially control the value of the rupee. What has happened is that we have lost our reserves, interest rates have gone up, and the rupee has fallen. If this was done previously, the depreciation may not have been this steep.
Meanwhile, market turmoil continued at the Colombo Stock Exchange for the 7th consecutive day today. The all-share price index fell by 2.3%, while the Milanka price index fell by 2%. At close of trading today, the benchmark all-share price index dropped by 125.26 points to end the day on 5,316.99 points. The more liquid Milanka price index lost 94.65 points to close at 4,627.14 points. Economists point out that the losses recorded in the Colombo Stock Exchange over the past few months can be attributed to the loss of investor confidence.
The reason for the dramatic decline in the Colombo Stock Exchange must not come as any surprise to anyone who was tracking the market because you saw the manipulators having pushed up the prices of even useless shares, sometimes by 500 or by 1,000%. And this goes to show that a number of investor unfriendly policies of the government, including the recent takeover law, is beginning to bite, and that investors, large and small, local and foreign, have lost confidence in the Sri Lankan economy.
The orders under the National Thoroughfares Act were taken up for debate in Parliament today. Through these orders, laws are expected to be formulated regarding new expressways that have become part of the national road network.
මේ සමස්ත අධිවේගී මාර්ගයේ කිලෝමීටර් සංඛ්‍යාව සාමාන්‍යයෙන්
By 2013-2014, we hope to complete nearly 300 kilometers of the expressway. We also intend to establish a highway development authority to work closely with the road development authority. No room will be provided to erect hoardings on either side of the highway. The Ministry of Highways will take legal action on this.
ඉඩක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ මහාමාර්ග අමාත්‍යාංශයකට අදාළ නීතිමය පියවර ගන්නමු.
මම දැක්කා මේ
The Gazette notification states that the President and the Prime Minister's vehicles will travel toll-free on the expressway. I don't have a problem with that. However, we have received information that even the ministers travel on this road toll-free. I totally reject this.
මේ ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂ මේ
නැත්තම් නෑ කියන්නේ.
නෑ පැහැදිලිවම නෑ.
නෑ කියන්නේ
සියලුම මන්ත්‍රී
I urge you to reveal the name of the individual who proposed at the party leaders' meeting not to charge money from MPs.
United National Party Deputy Leader Parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa says that many problems are encountered when providing solutions to people's issues due to the inactivity of the Parliamentary Advisory Committee. Premadasa made this observation in Parliament today.
In the past, the parliamentary advisory committees that cover 54 ministries convened every month. However, this is not the case today. The authorities have failed to provide the 4.3 million school children with uniform material. 1.6 million families have not received their Samurdhi. 80,000 graduates are unemployed in the country. Please let me present my facts. You tell us to raise these questions at the Parliamentary Advisory Committee. However, these committees do not meet every month as before. If the authorities have failed to provide the 4.3 million school children with uniform material, 1.6 million families with their Samurdhi and 80,000 graduates with employment, where are we supposed to talk about these matters? At the party leaders' meeting in 2011, the chief whip and the leader of the house assured us that advisory committee meetings will take place every month. However, this did not materialize as promised.